Shakur Stevenson and Edwin de Los Santos. A lot of people in the media giving people grief, talking about it's one of the most boringest fights in history of boxing. Um, what's your thoughts on the fight and your initial reaction?
Um, it wasn't a good fight. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't a good fight. I still think Shakur Stevenson is the truth, though. I think that we gotta, you know, allow guys to be themselves, and then he get compared a lot to Bud and Floyd, and he has the relationship with Andre Ward, and I'm not saying he can't beat him, but right now, he's not where they were, so and that's okay. He's 26. He only has 21 fights. He got to evolve at his own time. And De Los Santos can punch. You know what I mean? He's sharp. When you asked me last week, who did I pick? What did I tell you?
Shakur.
But I said he's probably going to play it safe because that boy could punch.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think
You
you
remember
gave
that?
yeah,
I
you
said Shakur by decision because he probably going to play it safe because the guy could punch. And fighters got self-preservation. He's the one in there with the guy. He could feel that dude could punch. That kid was sharp and he was like real reactive. So if he hasn't, you know, he didn't feel as though that he needed to risk a win to entertain. And I'm not, it is an entertainment, it is professional boxing, but you also it don't it I'd rather win ugly than entertain and lose. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to entertain, but it don't supersede winning. So I just felt as though like he played it a little safe because the guy could punch. He hasn't developed. I'm not gonna say he hasn't developed because I seen him do it, but he wasn't willing to do it versus this guy. You know what I mean? Like Bud would take that guy in about the eighth or ninth round, he'd stop him. You know, Floyd and Ward would have start walking him down and roughing him up. See how Floyd did that? You know,
they walked him
Ward
up.
Ward Ward would have roughed him up. They may not have stopped him, but they would have beat on him. But Shakur haven't developed that with that level of explosiveness and that level of guy yet. So he did what he did best, and that's take a step back, box, and win a decision. He gonna get criticism because he does, he talks a little bit of shit, and that come with the game. But I accept it what it is. He's a talented fighter that just wasn't worth, it wasn't worth it for him to go for the knockout or try to impress versus such a dangerous opponent. And sometimes we just gotta just accept that, like, but the paying public, the other side is that they might not come out to see you like that no more. They might not appreciate you no more. They might not, that was a big platform being on a Thursday night, or right in front of that race car weekend. And it
One,
hasn't
yeah.
been a lot of boxing on Thursday night. So he didn't have much to compete with except Thursday night football. So that was a big platform that they put him on. And the second side to that is, all right, Shakur, you got your win, but we're not gonna pay to see you no more. So that come with that. Some fighters you can't showcase. Some guys are just well-rounded, really good fighters, and they gotta be you gotta put them in with real good guys to appreciate them. You can't really showcase them. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fighters that's like that. Like Bernard Hopkins was like that, where again certain guys he don't look good. You put him in there with Tarver, Trinidad, and Pavlik. He put on masterpieces. So we just gotta wait for their career to play out. Right now Shakur is a boxing savant, but he hasn't developed that part of his game where he could stop a big time punching threat and take the chance and go in there. What he's developed is I know how to beat that guy and win without taking the chance. So we gotta let him evolve at where he's at in his career and not expect him to be Bud, who's a serial killer, or Dre, who like one of the roughest dudes you ever want to see, or Floyd, because when Floyd was in that situation with Sharp Zab Judah, Floyd just held his hands up, walked to him, beat his body, hit him with lead right hands, and won like 7, 8 rounds in a row after getting off to a bad start. They all time great, special, special, special guys, and they complete packages. And Shakur probably could get there, but right now He did what he's comfortable with. Boxers speak in a different language. It's not just what they say, it's what they do. And it's not the first time he faced a puncher. I think the guy was an African dude named Jeremiah something. I can't
Bacatelia.
pronounce. You got it. And he played the safe versus him. So you know, he's in there. He's the one feeling the punches. So if you feel a certain kind of threat, you do certain kind of things. You know what I mean? But I'm not upset or you know, uh, I'm not saying it was a great performance because it wasn't. But that don't mean everybody can beat Shakur. That don't mean that he can't outbox other dudes. That's because what we got to see now. We got to see how everybody else do versus De Los Santos. Let's
Facts.
see another champ pick him out and do to him what y'all want Shakur to do to him. So we got to see. Now, if somebody else do it, uh, then you know, then that's gonna be a feather in their cap. That'll devalue Shakur's performance. But if he go in there and get another elite guy and they don't engage him or he stop him, then you gotta look at Shakur like, okay. So Tom always tells all. We always quick to judge and say different things in this era, but Tom will let you know exactly what that performance really meant. That's what it will. It'll tell you either way what the performance meant.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we have over 123 people on the live, only 16 likes. Let's get these likes up to improve the visibility of the show. So when people say, hey, Shakur was running, did you see running in that fight?
No, I didn't really see running. What I saw was that a fighter where he was like a minimalist. You ever like you got any family members or they don't need a lot? You know what I mean? They don't need a fancy car. They don't need a
Yeah.
big nice house. He was a minimalist where he said the more you punch, the more you leave yourself open to be hit. So guys by nature who throw a lot of punches, those guys are like daredevils by natures. Um, Either they got good chins or crazy hearts where they don't care about getting hurt, but they let their punches go. Shakur is more economical with his punches. He's defense first. I didn't see a guy running. I saw a guy that's just being real careful because he was in there with a puncher. That's honestly what I saw. But I could tell from the very first round that De Los Santos had some steam on his shots. I could tell like, man, Shakur better be careful with this boy. I was literally saying that to myself, like, yo, he better be careful. This boy throwing some steam. And they was both southpaws, so that kind of some of the advantages that Shakur might have with a right-handed fighter where he could get around them, they was kind of lined up in front of each other. So I just saw the dangerous fighter. I didn't see him running. I just saw him saying, you know what, I'm going to take the least amount of risk to get this win because this guy in here is dangerous. And fighters they may can't come out and say that, but that's just basically what I saw. Shakur's a prideful guy. If he could have did to him what he did to Jamel Herring, he would have did it. You know what I mean? But he's a prideful guy, and it was like, oh, all right, let me just win this one and be impressive in the next one. Sometimes it's like that, you know. Again, it wasn't an impressive performance, but I don't make excuses. That boy can punch. He's fast. He's not. He's very reactive. Like Shakur didn't have a big speed advantage over him. If you look at that fight real good, it wasn't big. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know if it was the one.
Yeah, they speed was like even to me.
Yeah.
He punched harder. You know what I mean? He not as good defensively. He's not as good technically, but the speed and the reflexes and stuff like that, that was like it was even, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
so so he didn't have those advantages where other guys where he engaged. Um, he had those advantages over them. So he was able to let his hands go a little bit more because they couldn't match him with speed and reaction time. Well, that dude was able to match him with speed and reaction time. So it was a little bit different for him to engage him. You know what I mean? So, you know, he said, all right, I'm a box and just be smart. And
Right.
he gonna get the criticism because of it. Part
Yeah.
of the game. You can't tell everybody, you can't say certain things and then expect that. But I see past that. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson is hard to beat, bro. And he's still gonna be hard to beat, regardless of this performance. Everybody's not De Los Santos. Everybody's not that fast and sharp. He'll be hard to beat because of that. And like I said, for everybody that want to criticize him, he deserved the criticism. It was not a good performance to be on that platform. But let's see the other lightweights deal with De Los Santos. If he's so easy and Shakur, should have did X, Y, and Z, let's see the other guys do X, Y, and Z. And I'm not saying they can't. I just want to see him do it because I
Hmm.
think that De Los Santos, from what I saw,
He's
he
in the top
is
five.
he a tough fight. He a tough fight for anybody. He 24. He don't got no wear and tear on him. He's very, very fast. If he like get his IQ up a little bit more and learn how to
Mhm.
set traps a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? Because
Here we
in
go.
in all fairness, he didn't throw a lot of punches. He didn't put Shakur in a position where Shakur needed to do more to beat him. De Los Santos' work rate was kind of down. He could
Hmm.
figure out a way to use his jab a little bit more and set traps a little bit more. Bro, that boy gonna be hard to beat. He's like
Hmm.
a little bit off because he couldn't get his hands off either. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a one-way thing. Neither one of them could really get their hands off. So
Hmm.
if he gets that, but he only 16 and 2. You know what I'm saying? He's only 24 years old. He got time to develop. But if he could develop, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, talking to De Los Santos' coach, he believed coming into the fight and after the fight it was a split mirror. It was like Shakur Stevenson was seeing himself in there at moments, and I like that you said that the IQ and probably the a half a second that Shakur had for timing, but everything else was like a split mirror for sure. I like that you said that.
Yeah,
Um,
he if he that's just gonna come with seasoning. You know what I mean? 16 and 2. You know, if he develops right, he's gonna be a problem, man. You can see a lot of good stuff in there. Let me just tell you this. Those rounds wasn't clear. He didn't get
hard to
dominated.
score.
Like one,
It was
one
hard to
judge
score.
had it like 7-5. Like that could have been a six. That was a weird fight to score. Nobody beat the other one up. You know what I mean? I think the most constant punch Shakur landed was maybe a jab to the stomach. It was a tough fight.
I think he stopped it. I think he stopped the jab to the stomach and started going
Hmm.
more towards the head because he
Hmm.
was getting caught with De Los Santos. You know when it is when you have to take a chance sometimes when you go downstairs.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, that's why everybody don't body punch.
Right. Exactly.
That's why everybody don't body punch, man. But that was a tough fight. Like and both of them had the other ones thinking, and having to be like mentally on point can be physically draining. You kind of have
Mhm.
to be like aware all the time. So it is what it is, man. Let's just see, how they look moving forward.